Hey y'all, this is Don, aka the Interactive Nanny, coming to you guys live and in living color from Interactive Nanny's world where love and play are interacting. I hope you guys have had a great start to your week and that you've enjoyed your weekend thus far. And I'm so glad that we're here together for this new episode of Interactive Nanny's world. So I'm sharing two books with the littles and the littles is from 6 weeks on up to 60 if you choose to listen to Inactive Nanny's Word and if you enjoy the stories and the other information that I share. But anyway, nevertheless, let's get started. The first book I'm going to read is a book that I recently got maybe a couple of months ago, and I thought it was so cute, so I figured out why not share it again. You can never share too many books too many times in Interactive Nanny's world. So this book is entitled Too Shy to Sing. Um, Too Shy to Sing. So let's get started. Grab the littles, or if you're going to let them listen to it in Active Nanny's Word later on as your story time, that's great too. Um, Too Shy to Sing. Here we go. Canary was busy tidying his nest. He sang to himself as he gathered tiny twigs to make his home stronger. Canary loved to sing, but only on his own. He was much too shy to sing in front of the other birds. Canary heard a rustle in the bushes and froze. Had someone heard his song? Is anybody there? He called, but it was only the wind in the branches. Canary relaxed and started to sing his beautiful tune once more. Canary stepped back to admire his handiwork. He thought. It needs a few finishing touches, and he left to look for more twigs. As he flew, he passed a tiny blur of colored wings. It was Hummingbird, flitting, flitting from flower to flower, sipping nectar from the blossoms. Canary watched in amazement as Hummingbird flew backwards and then hovered in midair. Oh, hello, called Hummingbird. What are you doing? Watching you, gasped Canary. You are so clever. I wish I could fly like that. Hummingbird buzzed his wings busily and thought for a moment. I'm sure you are very clever in other ways, he said. But Canary just blushed and carried on his way. All right, y'all. Let's see. On and on flew Canary until he saw a flash below him. He perched on a tree to see who was running so fast. It was Ostrich, hurtling along at top speed. She was the fastest bird Canary had ever seen. Canary flew down to take a closer look, and Ostrich skidded to a halt in a cloud of dust. Oh, hello, said Ostrich. What are you doing? Watching you, gasped Canary. You are so speedy. I wish I could run like that. Ostrich tipped her head to one side. But you don't need to run fast. I bet there is something that makes you unique too. Canary flew on until he spotted some tasty berries. He stopped and pecked at them to cheer himself up. Suddenly he heard footsteps and watched as Peacock strutted from beneath the bush. Peacock slowly fanned his tail into a magnificent display of blue, green, and turquoise and turned around to show it off to his friends. Canary gave a sigh. Oh, hello, called Peacock. Why do you look so sad? Canary flew down to land next to Peacock. I was just looking at your tail, he gasped. You are so beautiful. I wish I could look like that. Peacock folded his tail onto the ground behind him. My tail is only for showing off, he said. I'm sure you have something the birds, that all the birds admire, but Canary didn't think he did. Canary flew on his way, stopping here and there for a snack. A glint of light caught his eye. Bowerbird was busy putting the finishing touches on his nest. Nearly done, huffed Bowerbird to himself. I have stones and sticks and feathers and flowers and some shiny glass to make this nest magnificent. He looked up and saw Canary watching. Oh, hello, he called to Canary. What are you doing? Watching you, gasped Canary. You are so talented. I wish I could make a nest like that. Bowerbird moved a stone a little bit to the left. It's what I'm good at, he said, but everybody is good at something. I'm sure you're especially good at something too. But Canary just shook his head. As he made his way back to his nest, Canary heard a familiar song rising from the forest below him. He flew down to take a closer look. Oh, hello, said Canary. What are you doing? I'm practicing my copycat noises, chirped Lyrebird. Do you like my canary song? He whirred, clicked, and laughed. Canary looked puzzled and asked, Was that you singing so loudly? I've never heard anyone sing so proudly before. Lyrebird whistled his reply. Well, your songs are my favorite. They're so pretty. Why wouldn't I sing them loud and proud? He added. Sing a little and I'll sing along. Canary hesitated. He was too shy to sing. But if today had taught him anything, it was that you shouldn't be shy about the things you are good at. So he took a deep breath and he started to sing. Lyrebird sang along, following Canary's notes. Canary felt shyness slipping away as they sang together, louder and louder. Canary sang his heart out. Tune wobbled, rippled, and floated beautifully through the trees for everyone to hear. When he stopped, Canary could hear cheering and whooping. Lyrebird had stopped singing to listen, so Canary had been singing all by himself. Canary's friends were all standing around him looking amazed. Wow, they cried. We wish we could sing like you. Canary puffed out his chest with joy. He proudly opened his beak and sang as loudly as he could. He had finally found what makes him special, and this was Too Shy to Sing. And that's the end of the story. All of Canary's friends have something special about them. Hummingbird can hover in midair. Ostrich can run super fast. And Peacock has a beautiful tail. Canary loves to sing, but only when he's by himself. He could never sing in front of his friends. Can Canary show everyone what makes him special, or is he simply too shy to sing? So y'all, if you listen to the previous episode that I shared, this particular book, I actually shared that I got this from a Dollar Tree. Um, and that was so surprising. It actually has other books in the series. So as soon as I go into another I've gone into Dollar Tree, but I haven't found any of the other books in the series, which is so I should have just gotten them when I saw them, but I didn't know how they were gonna be. And but you know, if I run up on some of the other books in the series, I'm definitely gonna get the rest of the books. But I was just so surprised that I found this cute little book out of Dollar Tree. So that was Too Shy to Sing. So now we're getting ready to read um, a book, Pete the Cat, Old MacDonald Had a Farm. And of course, Pete the Cat has a ton of books in his series. So let's just get into Pete the Cat, Old MacDonald Had a Farm. I forgot where I got this book from. Anyway, let's get into it. Old MacDonald had a farm, E-I-E-I-O. And on that farm he had some chickens, E-I-E-I-O. With a cluck cluck here and a cluck cluck there. Here cluck, there cluck, everywhere cluck cluck. Old MacDonald had a farm, E-I-E-I-O. Old MacDonald had a farm, E-I-E-I-O. And on that farm he had some dogs, E-I-E-I-O. With a woof woof here and a woof woof there, here woof there, woof everywhere, woof woof. Old MacDonald had a farm. E-I-E-I-O. Old MacDonald had a farm. E-I-E-I-O. And on that farm he had some cows. E-I-E-I-O. With a moo moo here and a moo moo there. Here moo, there moo, everywhere moo moo. Old MacDonald had a farm. E-I-E-I-O. And on that farm he had some pigs. E-I-E-I-O. With an oink oink here and an oink oink there. Here oink, there oink, everywhere oink oink. Old MacDonald had a farm. E-I-E-I-O. And on that farm he had some horses. E-I-E-I-O. With a neigh-neigh here and a neigh-neigh there. Here a neigh, there a neigh, everywhere a neigh-neigh. Old MacDonald had a farm. E-I-E-I-O. And on that farm he had some cats. E-I-E-I-O. With meow meow here and meow meow there. Here meow, there meow, everywhere meow meow. Old MacDonald had a farm. E-I-E-I-O. And on this farm he had some goats. E-I-E-I-O. With a ba-ba here and a ba-ba there. Here, ba, there, ba, everywhere, ba-ba. Old MacDonald had a farm. E-I-E-I-O. And on his farm he had some ducks. E-I-E-I-O. With a quack, quack here and a quack, quack there. Here, quack, there, quack, everywhere, quack, quack. Old MacDonald had a farm. E-I-E-I-O. And on his farm he had some turkeys. E-I-E-I-O. With a gobble, gobble here and a gobble, gobble there. Here a gobble, there a gobble, everywhere a gobble, gobble. Old MacDonald had a farm. E-I-E-I-O. And on that farm he had some roosters. E-I-E-I-O. With a cock-a-doodle here and a cock-a-doodle there. Here a cock-a-doodle, there a cock-a-doodle, everywhere a cock-a-doodle. Old MacDonald had a farm. E-I-E-I-O. And on this farm he had some donkeys. E-I-E-I-O. With a hee-haw here and a hee-haw there. Here hee-haw, there hee-haw, everywhere hee-haw. Old MacDonald had a farm. E-I-E-I-O. And on this farm he had some sheep. E-I-E-I-O. With a ma-ma here and a ma-ma there. Here ma, there ma, everywhere ma-ma. Old MacDonald had a farm. E-I-E-I-O. And on his farm he had some frogs. E-I-E-I-O. With a ribbit ribbit here and a ribbit ribbit there. Here ribbit, there ribbit, everywhere ribbit ribbit. Old MacDonald had a farm. E-I-E-I-O. And on this farm he had some geese. E-I-E-I-O. With a honk honk here and a honk honk there. Here honk, there honk, everywhere honk honk. Old MacDonald had a farm. E-I-E-I-O. Old MacDonald had a farm. E-I-E-I-O. And on that farm he had some chickens. E-I-E-I-O. Join Pete the cat as he learns the sounds of all the different farm animals, chickens, pigs, and even frogs. Everyone's favorite groovy cat is groovier than ever in this way cool adaptation of Old MacDonald Had a Farm. And that is the end of the story. So, yep, guys, those were two great books that we have shared this evening on Interactive Nanny's World. Too Shy to Sing and Pete the Cat. Old MacDonald Had a Farm. I hope you guys have enjoyed the episode this evening. Don't forget to listen, like, share, and subscribe. Interactive Nanny's World to anybody that has any kind of teaching or working with or learning or helping children learn or just family, children in general, any kind of correspondence or I don't know, in relationships, etc., with children, or anybody that loves children's books or other topics pertaining to children. Again, don't forget to listen, like, share, and subscribe. Interactive Nanny's World via anywhere you get your podcast or on YouTube. And both are entitled Interactive Nanny's World. So go ahead, check them out, check us out, find out all about Interactive Nanny's World. Until next week, this is Dawn, aka the Interactive Nanny. Wishing you guys a great rest of the week. Be prosperous, be great, be safe, be blessed. Have fun. Enjoy the weather because it's warming up. Until next week, we're signing off from Interactive Nanny's World, where love and play are are interacting. Talk to you guys later. Bye bye.